Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Tonight, we have a wonderful soul in our house tonight. His motto is Peace Through Music. His home, Barkwood Studios. He's a radio talk show host on this incredible network. He runs his own show called Jackie's Groove. He's a master of percussion and a major musician. Most of all, he's a very good friend of ours. He has performed with these amazing musicians: Brian Wilson, Joe Walsh, Christopher Cross, the Beach Boys, the Wilsons, Jim Messina, Michael McDonald, Earth, Wind & Fire, Tower of Power, Kenny G, Jimmy Buffett, Stephen Stills, and the CC Music Factory, and so many more we can't even name.
Too many.
Tonight, we will be talking to this brilliant musician and current radio show host. Please welcome our guest, Mr. Jackie Bertone.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today out there, listeners? Of course, this is Beth Venus, and with the lovely Tracy Smith, we are Girls Talk Rock, and we do have Jackie Bertone on us with us today. We're going to be talking about his career and his progress in different things, and of course, the new things going on in his life that include his show on Enter Talk, Jackie's Groove, which is a really exciting part of the finale. But those of you who are curious about Jackie and want to follow in these footsteps, this is going to be a great show tonight to hear about how someone with some incredible natural skills and instincts and found good work and working with good people. We're going to find out about live touring. We're going to talk about filming. We're going to talk about taping. We're talking about editing. We're going to talk about recording.
We're going to talk about his touring schedule and when he used to tour. And we're going to talk to him about all the artists that he's actually toured with. Because there's a long list that I just read you. And he is that amazing.
If you are listening to us live, you can go to Girls Talk Rock on Facebook and message us a question. If you're sending stuff in, we'll try to get it into the show. And we're watching live for that as well. Only if you're watching live, do that. And
or
today
live, yeah.
is, I have to say it before we really get started,
right.
May the 4th be with you.
Uh-oh. Star Wars.
Star Wars, or the interval of a fourth, which we all know could be several things, from C to F or D to G or E to A, or any number of additions for that wonderful fourth. And those of you who want a small music lesson, and the interval of a fourth always sounds like Here Comes the Bride.
That's right.
Here comes the bride.
Well, I don't know. It's been a long time since
fourth.
I've gotten married, so it's a long.
Me
long
too.
time
I
ago.
don't even know if I use that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again and use it. Sounds good to me. So we're just going to get on board with this. Tracy, you started to introduce exactly what Jackie's been doing. We wanted to also let everybody know that we are, of course, on Enter Talk Radio.
Of course.
And you can find Jackie's show on Enter Talk Radio.
Yeah, you can also go to JackieBertone.com and see everything that he's doing, because he's doing a lot right now. And he's really, really big, and he's talking to a lot of, I got to say, household names beyond household names. Drummer for Styx, Todd Suckerman. We're talking about, just people on that level all day long. We're hoping to get Brian Wilson on his show. We're working on that.
So much going on. I'm looking right now, and we've been asked by the producers to make sure we mention that also Enter Talk Radio, and again, you can find that at entertalkradio.com. That's where you're listening. As we have all these wonderful specials going with Al Di Meola. We're going to be following him live on his Us Electric Tour 2016, and this is really something new for Enter Talk. So, radio. I'm kind of excited about hearing some live music and following just such a legacy artist like Al Di Meola around. So we're going to hear more about that.
That's huge. And also we're now on Stitcher, We Girls Talk Rock is also on iTunes and hopefully soon iHeartRadio.
And Enter Talk.
Yes, and you can get us many places.
So we've got Jackie online. And
Are we there, Jackie Bertone?
I'm here, girls. Can you hear me?
Awesome, we can hear you now.
Loud and
Amazing.
clear. Welcome
Sorry
to
about that. The
Girls Talk
gremlins
Rock.
are out there jinxing us today.
Oh, that's all right. We roll with it.
We say bring it. We're
well,
ready
actually,
for
we
it.
rock with it.
Yeah.
I brought it, girls. I brought it.
I love it.
Good.
We're bringing it together. We were just reviewing how listeners, we have so much to share about you and your life and really the legacy you're leaving in music and what you're doing now with your radio show. We have a lot to cover. And I know, Tracy, you wanted to dive in. You have got, I'm getting to talk with you for the first time, really in person. You and I, we met at NAMM
Yes, ma'am.
ever so briefly. But it's so nice to be able to talk to you today.
Yeah,
And
so
girls, thank you for honoring me and having me on your show. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
no, it's our honor all the way.
Happy place. I'm in a warm, fuzzy place.
What I wanted to start with for the fans is like we wanted to get into your early days. Like, what age did you start playing, and why did you choose percussion? If you don't know, Jackie's a percussionist, but that's what we want to start with.
Simply put, I was the kid that walked around the house beating on everything with sticks, but my mom saw that I was marring up the furniture, so she took the sticks and introduced me to a little pair of bongos, and there instilled the love of percussion. Growing up in an Armenian and an Italian family, oddly enough, my parents were very much into Latin music. My mom and dad would always host salsa parties and stuff, and I would be the one in charge to pour salt all over the garage floor so everybody could dance and sashay around and
Awesome.
and so on. So I grew up with that mambo feeling, that cha-cha-cha, and and that's what in late I should say, my career of heading towards percussion, and I can't tell you how many records I ruined by moving the needle back and forth, emulating the sound, because I don't read or write music. I'm a self-taught player.
Right. Now, that's amazing. But when you were little, tell us about the dreams that you had. I mean, at what age did you start dreaming like maybe you would make it big someday?
Well, oddly enough, I was introduced, actually, I love music. I grew up with music, as I said. But in my 7th grade year, I guess they call it middle school, but junior high, in Whittier, there was a poster on the office wall of musical inspirations, and some people had Elvis, of course, and the Bee Gees and stuff back, in '73 and '74. And then I was enamored by this beautiful painting by one of the students on a group called the Tower of Power. And so I happened to be mentioning it. My older next door neighbor, Mike Rogers, was a huge TOP fan, and he introduced me to Tower of Power at probably the ripe age of 13 years old. And at that time, growing up with this 2-year older sister, listening to nothing but Zeppelin and to Bowie and and the like, I was kind of more enthralled in that funk sound, that as they call it, the white soul.
The rhythm, that was taking you home.
And so falling in love with that music, getting into it, trying to understand what it was all about, from the boys based out of the Bay Area. And so basically from that time all the way through my junior year in high school, I had the opportunity with my local band called Nice and Easy. We played, we were the leader of the Battle of the Band winners for years and years and years. We had the opportunity to open up for Evelyn Champagne King and Son and the Hughes Corporation. Remember the song, Rock the Boat?
Oh, I love that song.
Don't rock the boat,
yeah, and
baby.
then we had the opportunity at a place called the International Club in Pico Rivera to open up for my dream band, Tower of Power. And so I, carpe diem, as they said, seize the day.
Seize the day, yeah.
I got a chance to meet Emilio Castillo, the founder of Tower of Power, which, by the way, in another year and a half, they're heading to the 50-year mark.
Wow.
You saw that on the tour.
And so I was able to talk, able to hang out, and from that day forward, Mimi, Emilio's nickname, and I became telephone friends when he lived in Berkeley area, in Oakland, and I lived in Whittier. So we talked and we talked and we talked, and we had a relationship going over a year. And through that time, I worked with a huge jazz band, Christian band, called Seawind. And they had a plethora of hits. They're most known for their horn section, who worked with Michael Jackson for years, called the Seawind Horns. Jerry Hay, Larry Williams, and Kim Hutchcroft. So through that labyrinth of players, I made my way through and actually had the opportunity to have the balls, for the lack of a better word, to ask Emilio if I could come sit in with them when they played at the Golden Bear in Huntington Beach, if you remember that. I'm sure we're all old enough to remember the Golden Bear.
When you were doing that, were you playing, percussion? And of course, our listeners who are drummers and percussion players out there are probably really interested to know: were you ever playing on a kit, or were you really just playing the hides, hand to hide right away? What was, were you able to do both, or were you really focused exclusively early on?
Exclusively on hand drums. I never got into trap set at all. I played with the best in the industry, and I just never really found myself overly interested in playing drums.
Interesting. That's great, though. You knew exactly what you loved.
Loved it, fell with it, and stayed with it, and to this day, practice every single day.
Well, it's so interesting to me that you mentioned you're self-taught, and that's especially with a rhythm instrument where you're have to be so in tune with setting the groove, literally,
right.
With everybody in the room. What was your first professional audition like for a national act, or when there was pressure for you to rise, to fit in and try to get in a project?
It's a great question, because oddly enough, my ability to play was always, without sounding cocky, above standard, because I always surrounded myself by the very best players. I always tell young players, play with better people. It'll force you to get good quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm looking at that timer clicking down there. Sorry for being a radio guy myself now.
No, you're
doing
good.
great.
Go ahead and keep
We
going.
love it. We take
We'll
it.
let you know when it goes.
That's really what we're so interested in, because anybody who teaches is always thinking, did you ever practice with a click? You surrounded yourself with good instrumentalists. Did you have a great sense of meter from the beginning, or is that something you really trained yourself to be conscious of? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was fortunate enough to I always tell people that you can take all the greatest lessons in the world, but if you don't have it in your soul, you're never going to get it. Period.
That's right.
And I've always been blessed to have that independence of left and right. And it wasn't until 1995 that I actually have to do my first audition.
Huh. Wow.
Scary beyond belief. And that audition was with the wonderful band Earth, Wind & Fire.
Delicious. So
Crazy.
Did they call you?
Yeah, there was four percussionists worldwide called: myself, Chalo Eduardo, Bay Area guy, Ronnie Gutierrez, L.A., and David Romero, Las Vegas. All four of us were called into center staging in Burbank. And when I walked in, they all looked at me and they said, "Oh, Jesus, Jackie, really? And don't you have every gig?" And I said, "Not this one."
Not this one. This is the one I want.
Get ready to rumble, boys.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I was scared to death. My wife came with me because I was nervous. I didn't feel like driving up there. And when I got there, it was unusual to hear, the funk band, the premier dance band, Earth, Wind & Fire, playing Latin music. And it made sense now, but back then, I couldn't understand why they'd be playing Latin music, but then finding out that the other three gentlemen I spoke about were Latin percussionists.
Right.
And so I was the last one to be called in, and when they did call me into the studio, the doors opened up, and there in front of me was the album cover, Earth, Wind & Fire.
Wow. So now we got to have you hold that thought.
I'm holding it because that's a great image.
I know, right? We are at our first break already. We want to thank EnterTalkRadio.com, and we also want to thank Lowe's Guitars, who's our sponsor. And we'll be back in 3 minutes. So hold on, Jackie.
Hold on.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Hey guys, CS Keys here to introduce you to San Diego's #1 health meal prep provider, Fresh and Fit Meals. With over 40 menu items to choose from, several pickup locations all over America's finest city, made and delivered fresh, never frozen. Save on time and money. Super convenient and improves the quality of your life. Just visit the website, freshandfitmeals.com, for all the menus and the pricing. Or give them a call at 858-805-5949 for more details. Remember, you are what you eat, so you might as well be fresh and fit with Fresh and Fit Meals.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Hello, Beth Venus. We are
Hello,
back.
Tracy.
We are back with the amazing Jackie Bertone. We're going to get into this next segment by starting out where we left off.
In 1995. Oh, my gosh. That's a good year. So you were standing there. The doors open. There's Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Holy Mary, what comes next?
Well, I mean, when I walked in to the studio, literally, as I said, they were standing in front of me. And at that time, I was a real big fluffy guy and weighing in at 400 pounds, and I didn't know how to really break my nerves. And Philip Bailey had a camera set up, and he said, I want everybody to welcome Jackie. Jackie, look at the camera and state your name. And I looked in the camera, and I said, my name is Paulinho da Costa, which is my mentor, and I let myself go. And, of course, that was how I broke the ice. Everybody started laughing. And,
wonderful.
You know, as we went in, he said, what do you want to play? Bertone said to me, the bass player, said, what do you want to play? I said, how about a little bit of Earth, Wind, and Fire? And he goes, yeah, we can do that. So we started out with Shining Star.
Awesome.
And so when I heard that bass line, you know, that boom, 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 right? So we did that probably the first 8 bars. I waved my hand. They stopped playing. And I said, I cannot believe that of all the top 40 bands I've played with over the years, that I'm actually playing this with the real band. So we played Shining Star. We played Fantasy. We played September. We played Let's Groove Tonight. The bottom line is we played 6 songs. The other guys only played 3 apiece. We had a great time. We left. My wife and I went to California Picture Kitchen, and there I broke down in tears. She said, what's going on? What's wrong? I said, I sucked. I was so bad. It was almost like my analogy was when you're running your bicycle and you trying to keep your tire away from between the sidewalk and the grass.
Yeah.
I was definitely the whitest guy in Soul Train in that crowd. And my wife said, how could you say that? She goes, you played 6 songs. I said, well, maybe they're trying to get 3 more songs to see if I wouldn't suck so bad.
Totally musician, spoken like a musician at an audition.
Yeah, you know, and again, it's truly the first big audition I had with a major act, and I was told that they would contact me on that following Monday. The rehearsal was or audition was Friday. Monday came no call. Tuesday came no call. Wednesday the phone rang. It was Valerie from Earth, Wind, and Fire. She said, the boys loved you. And I said, but? And she goes, but they decided to go with somebody else.
Oh, heartbreak.
Well, it was. I was devastated at the time. And a friend of mine, Ron Powell, who is the percussionist with Kenny G, Miami Sound Machine, Diana Ross, he's the one that recommended me for the gig.
Yeah.
And he said to me, bro, don't worry about that. He goes, it's a gig, it's not the gig.
Right.
And so there, 2 weeks later, they were playing at the Wilton Theater. They asked me if I wanted to come. I didn't go. I was literally
hard.
that broken from it. But you know what? I got over it. Since then they've become dear friends of mine. And we've got John Paris from Earth, Wind and Fire coming on Jackie's Groove here in the next 30 days or so.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So we're really happy. So that's my high and low of auditioning.
Right.
Well, it's interesting the way it comes full circle, though, because, even if you're not auditioning, if you're playing with a group for the first time or just like, to use the term loosely, jamming with someone, do you find yourself locking in more with your bass player than just with any of the other percussion in the room? Or are you like, hey, hold on to your horses and follow me, people?
Well, no, if we're playing live, if we're doing a live show, what I usually ask, my interviewees is what do you put in your ear monitors or your wedge monitors? What do you want to hear? And myself, answering my own question, I don't want to hear drums because they're right usually next to each other.
Yeah.
I want to hear voices, and I don't want to hear bass because I can hear that well. But being a percussionist playing, congas, timbales, bongos, I have a huge rack to my right side with all toys, ethereal sounds, whistles, and bells. And that's what I concentrate on, making sure the house sound and the monitor sound on stage hears me. And as I always told everybody else.
For a fact, yeah.
Yeah, I tell everybody. In fact, one of my techs years ago, my road tech, had said to me, I notice every time, Jackie, we walk into a venue, albeit a club of 600 people or a stadium full of 60,000 people, you always make sure you go out of your way to shake hands with the sound guys. And I said to Nick, Nick, I want you to think about what you just asked me. I said, number one, we as percussionists come in as prima donnas, number one, and we're really, yeah, we are. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how great of a player you are. If the audience can't hear you, then what's the purpose?
Yeah, what's the point?
And so, I always say a little bit of brown washes, and you shake hands, let everybody know that you're a homeboy. You get what you want, And
I think you speak volumes, though, because, and to all our musicians out there listening, professional and amateur and up-and-coming artists, really connecting with your sound person, I don't think it can be overstated how important that is and how that has probably served you over the years to really know there's a lot of control there, and some of them are a little salty, and if they don't like you, they might just shut you down.
Oh, trust me, it's happened before at a wonderful club called it was in Redondo Beach, and it used to be called Club Caprice, and it was called The Strand. That's what it was.
Yes.
And I got into a verbal altercation with the guy by the name of Herman, who was a sound guy who hated me. He was from Australia. And after I took him out in the back and got high with him, the next night on a Saturday, I was a star in his eyes, and I got what I wanted. So that was my only downfall. It cost me a whole joint, excuse me for being blatant, but it'll be all...
Excuse me from being blunt?
Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, I'll hit you up on that one. So
420 days.
Okay, here's our rhythm.
Okay, so what I think our listeners might want to know is, who do you see as that one pivotal person in your life that gave you that first big break and to this day you still love?
My mentor and the founder of Tower Power, Emilio Castillo.
Okay, cool.
Bottom line, every article, every interview I've ever said, he even said to me last year playing over at Thornton Winery, he said, you always mention me, you always give me the props. And I said, bro, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But he said, no, if it wasn't for your talent, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. And I said to him, here you are, 11 years my senior, but when I'm around you, I still see me as that young kid, December 17th, 1979, at the Golden Bear, my first break and live performance with Tower of Power. So when I see Mimi, I still see myself as a 19-year-old man, young man, and I guess it's just the ultimate respect and paying it forward to him.
That's awesome. So why don't you take our listeners into you at the height of your career? You're touring, you're doing all kinds of major things. Why don't you give us that one story on the road that you're thinking about.
We just get one.
Well, I'm saying just give us that one that's the most memorable to you in your mind.
That we can say out loud. We can say it out loud.
I'd say memorable-wise, it was for a production for Dick Clarke called America Fest. God rest Dick Clarke and his soul. We played at the is back in '91. I was with Stevie B and CNC Music Factory at the Rose Bowl, and 100,000 people.
Right.
And me being a former jock, first and foremost, not a musician, I was more enthralled by the fact of all of the cleats that ran across that gridiron that I was actually set up on. You know, and in our backstage, which was the locker room. So I was more blown away by the talent that went through, those halls. What it was is that for whatever reason that day, playing in front of that huge of a crowd, we actually only played for 19 minutes, just to kind of give you an idea. 19 minutes is all we played. And it was
4
like
songs.
a song and a half.
Yeah, I'd say like for fun, like 2 songs.
Yeah, wow.
But the weird part about it, I don't know what it was, but I was looking around this shining sea of faces, and for whatever reason, everything went in slow motion, and I thought for a quick second, since, the groups I were working with were at the height of their career with their hits, what if they rushed the stage?
Right.
And you never saw this guy, this big fluffy man. As soon as we were done on that 19th song, a 19-minute song, I was out and I ran. Freaked out. It was, and it was one of the weirdest things. Never happened since.
That's interesting, though. That's
Hopefully, it never happened again. But there's a plethora of stories to talk about. Some stuff I will not talk about. And but it just, it's just the ability to the meet and greets before the show, shaking hands, and then touching people's hearts, and then again paying it forward. And that's what it's all about when in the way of touring.
Right. So what's that one personal memory that you remember from when you were on tour with all these amazing artists that you can actually go back and get a nice fluffy moment out of?
When someone walked up and said, I know you didn't write the music, but I've heard you perform on it, and those sounds that you made and that song, it really brought me through a low point of my life, and I wanted to personally thank you and the band for getting me through that. And that's what I thought was pretty special. I mean, very special, the fact of the matter is, because we've all had our favorite songs in life, our favorite groups that brought us through the lows and been with us through our highs.
Right, because
So
music
as boring
changes
as that
people's
may sound,
lives. That's right.
if you can touch one person on stage, then you've done your job.
Well,
Right.
that's an understatement. I'm listening to what you were saying about playing in front of a very large crowd like that. Can you tell I'm listening to your music right now? I have several friends who are really concerned about playing certain festivals because of exactly what you just said, Jackie. And how do you get out and where do you go if they come at you from all angles? And some of it sounds a little unreasonable, but then actually, if you're on stage looking at a crowd like that, it's not unreasonable at all.
Yeah, and I prefer. Someone asked me not too long ago, do I prefer a large crowd or a small crowd? I will take a small crowd any day.
Right.
I like the paycheck that comes with a larger crowd, but the smaller crowd when you can actually connect with those people.
And more intimate, right.
Yeah, when those lights go up and those huge, even shows of 9,000 and above, Universal Amphitheater and such, you don't see anything from the truss lights that are in your eyes. You really don't see anything, so you are kind of playing to a black wall.
Yeah, right. Playing to the sound of.
Yeah, and it's a trip. I mean, I always tell all these young musicians, if you ever get that chance to be at the show, for the lack of a better word, you got to experience it because it is awe-inspiring to know that you are touching. Because don't forget, you can go see the biggest name out there, but there are musicians that come out to the shows to see that musician, not just the leader of the band.
They want to see the package.
All right,
That's
hold
it.
that thought, because when we come back, we're going to talk to Jackie about networking, timing, being in the right place at the right time, and some other good, juicy stuff. We'll be right back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
Holding.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, They buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit mozeguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Hey guys, CS Keys here to introduce you to San Diego's #1 health meal prep provider, Fresh and Fit Meals. With over 40 menu items to choose from, several pickup locations all over America's finest city, made and delivered fresh, never frozen. Save on time and money. Super convenient and improves the quality of your life. Just visit the website, freshandfitmeals.com, for all the menus and the pricing. Or give them a call at 858-805-5949 for more details. Remember, you are what you eat, so you might as well be fresh and fit with Fresh and Fit Meals.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
All right, Beth Venus, we are back with
Tracy, we
our buddy,
are back.
Jackie Bertone.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Listeners,
Awesome.
if you're listening, we're here with Jackie Bertone, and we're so happy to have him and talk about his career from the past, present, and future. A lot going on with Jackie, in such a wonderful career to listen and follow to.
Thank you, girls. Thank you. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So what I'm curious about, and what I think our listeners might be curious about, is out of all the success that you've had, how do you then and now define success? You tell us in your own words.
That's really a good question, because back starting out, I thought my crap didn't stink. A young, whippersnapper out there, 19 years old, driving a big fancy car, playing the greatest stages and so on, and really not able to, curtail what it was like to be thrust into the limelight like that, coming off one of the top bands in L.A., then going into the top band, in the world. I learned later on, a few years later, from a dear friend of mine by the name of Carlos Rios, guitarist with Lionel Richie, George Michael, and the like. He had told me years ago, and it rang so true. He said, you don't have to talk about how great you are, because when your phone is ringing, that's proof right there how great you are. And then even before that, Emilio from Tower Power told me, the less people you tell, the less hassles you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, show, don't say.
Right. Let it play. And and I was telling Florentino and Paul not too long ago, I was at a local restaurant, and one of the managers at the bar told me to sneak a cheek. I moved over, and she says, I just wanted to tell you, she goes, I knew you were a musician, and she used her quotation from the finger quotes. And she goes, and I said, and I did it back. I said, well, thank you, but she said, well, I'm saying that. She goes, I was stalking your website, and I've been listening to your radio show,
nice.
And I had no idea that you were a musician, that high end. And she goes, how do you stay so mellow, and how do you keep it, so far under the radar? I said, number one, the people I work with, they're the stars. They're the famous people that you know worldwide. I'm a hired grunt.
Yeah, hired
and
hand.
I said, if they don't have an attitude, in God's name, why would I have an attitude?
Exactly.
You know, and so
right.
I grew up. I grew up about 20 years ago, even more than 20 years ago. That it's just a pleasure to be into that situation. I mean, thankful that you were given this God-given talent. But the fact of the matter is, going out there and just seeing people's smiling faces and people staring at you while you're playing, and you know that they're there for you. And what you're trying to produce and what you're trying to convey to them. So that's basically my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm just very, very, very thankful.
That's amazing. Now we've got to tell our listeners that we actually have Michael O'Neill on the line. We're going to bring Michael O'Neill in right now. Michael, are you there?
Yes. Hey,
awesome.
everybody.
There we go. Now we have to let our listeners know that Mikey, that's funny. Michael and Jackie. See how that works? My mind's got to catch up with my mouth. You guys are doing something together. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Michael?
Well, it's a magical experience, and it was actually instigated by the infamous Florentino Buenaventura himself, a longtime friend of his, who is a Filipino singer by the name of Richard Aguila, who is beyond talented, just unbelievable vocalist. Florentino asked me if I would be willing to listen to him and consider possibly producing The Impossible Dream from the Man of La Mancha, which is a daunting task unto itself.
Yeah, a lot of amazing artists have taken on that,
no doubt,
this piece,
yes.
and you were inspired to take it on.
Well, yeah, and between Florentino and Richard, they had a specific sort of sound in mind, which centered around the Spanish guitar, and being of half Spanish descent and being a guitarist, it was probably going to be in my wheelhouse.
Right, it's a good fit.
So so we went for it, and I think we all agree that the result has been just fabulous. And Jackie Bertone there. Hey, Jackie.
Yeah, I'm right here, brother boy. Michael, I'm going to interject real quick. Girls, Michael's being very, very humble, but you talk about the greatness I've achieved. Let's talk about, for a quick second before we get into the song, let's talk about Michael and Michael's background. Forget me for a second.
That's right. 26 years with George Benson as his guitar player. So go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Well, you learn a few licks. You learn how to stand in the ring with Muhammad Ali, so that everyone else you fight, you just knock them out, basically. Okay, I know that's a funny way of putting it, but it cuts through the rest of it.
Right, because there are a lot of guitarists out there. We'll just say that to begin with, but you've got to rise to the top.
You know what's amazing also, girls, is that Michael is out with George Benson. Back, they just played, I think, a week and a half ago up in Laughlin. And the funny thing about this is that the vocalist / percussionist with George Benson, Liliana de los Reyes, I used to hold her as a child in my arms. And she is the daughter of Wilfredo Reyes, Jr. from Santana, Stevie Winwood, and currently on the percussion chair with Chicago.
Right.
And so I saw great pictures of Michael and Liliana and Florentino and Richard, and it was great. I'm sorry I wasn't there. So, Michael, I'm sorry about blowing smoke up your butt, but Michael is I'm a big fan of Michael's playing. He and I have played together over the years, lost contact, but got reacquainted again. So welcome home.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, it's beautiful. And I must say, I was weigh in on one thing that Jackie said. He referred to himself as a grunt, and I would say that, but he grunts in very good time.
Right, exactly, in the rhythm.
And both of you have found a way to stand out amongst a really competitive field. Working, that hand-to-hide work in percussion, and also, being a guitarist on any standard to be a working musician is hard enough, but to really stand out and get to, like you said, be in the mix. I love it when musicians use sports metaphors to communicate just what it takes to kind of cut through. And I think it's a great metaphor because, athletes, especially cross-country runners, will say, how do I break that 5-minute mile, or how do I break that 6-minute mile? And when they do it, it's not by 2 seconds. It's usually by like 10.
Yeah, so now we're like, how do you break into this?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Well, the other part of it is the mental part and the attitude. And Jackie, hit on it. The humility, and part of being humble, number one, is you really got to know yourself. Right. Because you got to know what you do and what you don't do, and you don't need to be out there trying to do what you don't do, Beth.
Right.
So that's important. It's being honest. Like I've turned down some calls over the years that I just kind of knew. This is not me. I don't need to, be all things to all people. So, that's a part of it too.
And that was going to be one of my questions: is what struggles have you guys faced during your career? Because you've had amazing careers. And what maybe one decision that you turned down something, or what you thought might be too much of a struggle that you didn't want to take on? Maybe tell us something about that.
You want me to jump in real quick, Michael?
Sure.
Go ahead. Go.
Yeah, during the early '90s with I guess they call it the Rico Suave tour with Gerardo and Rico Suave, CNC Music Factory, Stevie B. I was asked to go out with Rico Suave, and I think my intelligence at that time knew that it was going to be a burning star that was going to burn out quickly, and a lot of money that was offered, but I saw the forest from the trees, so I backed away from it, and it panned out. He's now God bless him. He's a pastor, and he's 51 years old, and he's not doing music anymore.
Wow.
And it was what good judgment, what interesting judgment on that to think this is, kind of a guilty pleasure, maybe a one-hit wonder, and we want to make sure we're looking at the big package, and also how that branded you, protecting you from looking like you're jumping at everything that hits the stage.
Right. Yeah, but also understand, too, I would give my lift, to be some of these one-hit wonders that have turned into multimillionaires from the one hit.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. People want to work, and I think the listeners who are musicians, they're really tuning in to see, what those decisions are and, how to know when to work. And everybody wants to do, like you said, be everything to everybody. And sometimes just knowing yourself.
But when you girls hear the magic, what Michael did on The Impossible Dream, he took my magic and he quantified it by huge increases. I just actually brought tears to my eyes when I actually heard what Michael did along with Richard's voice on this gorgeous song from Anna La Mancha, The Impossible Dream. So hopefully we'll be able to play more than just 1 minute of the song. You've got to get the whole song to get the gist of the vibe on it. It's beautiful. Kudos to Michael.
Yeah, and I know that we're getting, our producers here telling us, we're going to get that in at the beginning of the last quarter while we're talking
our producer
sports.
is Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, he's sitting right here smiling.
We're talking about this guy.
Nice. Well, I wanted to weigh in on that decision-making thing about career. In the mid-'80s, I was like pinching myself for about 2 years because I was jumping back and forth between George Benson and Stevie Wonder with no schedule conflict for 2 years. But then the conflict came. I was in Europe with Stevie, and they extended his tour by 2 weeks. And he tried to convince me to stay out there, and I had to come back. And I love Stevie, and it's been an honor and a dream to play with him. But I made by far the right decision because George is just so consistent, so great to work with, and I just I made the right decision. It bore out.
All right, you guys are going to have to hold that thought because we've got to come back for the fourth quarter now.
Fourth quarter.
Talking about football or sports.
When
we come back, we're going to move right into the future and what it holds for both of you gentlemen.
The Impossible Dream, we're going to talk about that too.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Clarke Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, and to try when your arms are too weary to reach the unreachable storm. This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell with a heavenly cause. And I know it might only be true to this glorious quest, and my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. The world will be better for.
Right, I have to say that was an exclusive on Girls Talk Rock. That's the first time anybody has heard that. And how beautiful was that, Beth?
Oh my gosh, and it's not released yet, so we got like the warm
Serious.
and fuzzies before
Serious.
anybody.
I mean, let me tell you, that's what movie soundtracks are made of, right there.
It's just so I'm like I was actually floating into it, and then he turned back down for us, and I was like, what was you doing, Florentino?
Hey, girls, I want to interject real quick. I just want to tell you something. Again, we talked about the earlier days of the 90s and these big stadium tours and so on. But let me just share something real quick. I want to share Michael's memory here. Out of all those great, huge 5,000, 50,000 seat arenas, I never had more fun working with Michael O'Neill, with a great jazz artist by the name of Sam Rainey at clubs called Bon Appetit, Lee Cafe, and Lava Lee. Michael, do you remember those days?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, we could call those the golden days of the very vibrant jazz club scene in Los Angeles that are no longer,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I used to live for those nights, knowing that I was going to be gigging with Michael, Bubba Bryan on drums, Michael Lott on keys. I mean, I can go down the line itself, and then Michael O'Neill on guitar, and that was the pinnacle and the epitome of being a yo-cat in the industry, getting that call to work with Michael. All right, Michael, that's it. How big's your head right now?
Well, you guys mentioned that playing with Michael for you two, and both of you, what were the elements that brought that together? The right size of intimacy for a venue, the best players that you want to play with, that you can get and click with and feel like you're, getting in the pocket with. And then it sounds like there's a few elements that make that a really memorable golden age for you. What are those things that if you had to recreate it that you would be doing?
Yeah,
exactly
well, you mentioned
said, all three.
Exactly those things. Yeah, exactly those things, and also just the sort of like camaraderie of constant flow of we could play at these various places every night of the week if we wanted to.
Right.
I mean, literally, and the thought of doing that right now makes me want to go to sleep right now because I'm one of those nights wears me out now. But in those days, that was it. There was an abundance of places to play where people would show up in droves and be very hungry to hear, to really, really take in the music. It was like very much about the art.
Right.
You would stop playing, and there'd be a break in the music, and you wouldn't hear nothing but the quintessential pin drop. And and there was that time on stage when we as musicians didn't even pay attention to the audience because it was so good on stage. It was so right. It was those are days that living in Orange County at the time, driving back from Westwood, so high, literally on life of that music, and looking forward to it. I can't tell you how many times I've been stopped by people saying, "Hey, man," he goes, "we just saw you at Universal playing with Third World or playing with this, that, and the other. Why a small club?" I said, "Because we have a mortgage. Those big
You're
shows
working,
end.
you're working musicians, and those are
musicians."
yeah.
And oh God, Michael, Michael, let's hang up right now, Michael. I'll meet you outside of that abandoned building, and we can hang out and have fun and
you know
talk
what?
about
I
it.
was just going to say we could do this show for 2 hours, but unfortunately we only have an hour. So guess what? Beth and I.
Yes, we have something.
We have
We need
something
both
that
of
we've
you for
got to
this.
do because we have something called the Quattro question.
It's the Quattro.
It is a must when you come on our show. You have to answer these questions.
Has to be quick. You have to think on your toes,
you
gentlemen.
guys are going to have to answer these questions. Are you ready?
Both of you, quick like
If you are an instrument, what wood are you made of? Go.
Ooh, Brazilian rosewood.
Okay.
Mama like.
Mine would be koa wood from Hawaii. Instinct and very, very rare, just like me.
Awesome.
I love
okay,
it.
here we go. If your life is a book, what is the title?
Mysteries Unfold.
Nice.
Delicious. I'm thinking that's the best one, and we've
What about
heard.
you, Jackie?
Mine would be Who in the F is Jackie Bertone?
Okay, here's question number 3. We got to kind of hurry here. If you're stuck in one place, where are you? In the past, the present, or the future?
Present.
Nice.
Present.
Awesome.
They're moving. I
See,
love
we
it.
love it. We love it. That tells a lot
Mature
about you.
working musicians
Now,
here.
if you're a rhythm, which rhythm are you? The salsa, the bossa nova, or the samba?
Oh boy, I'm going to have to go with samba.
And I'm going to go with salsa.
Wow, nice. See?
See, that's what we want to
That's
know.
awesome.
It gives us an idea of who you guys are as a groove. Of course, I'm Beth Venus, and this is Tracy Smith.
And we have to know your links quick. Where
We
can
have
we
to get all
find
of-
you?
Michael?
Me, www.michaeloneilmusic.net.
There we go.
www.JackieBertone, BERTONE.com.
And I have... Go ahead.
And Jackie'sGroove.com.
Right, I have to say that, Jackie Bertone is also a radio show host under the umbrella on the EnterTalk Radio Network like we are, so you're going to have to listen into his show this week because he's got a lot of big stuff coming up. Jason Shepp just gave away his bass. Oh, we're doing all kinds of stuff with that, and
we
I
just
can't
want
even tell
all
you.
our
You've
listeners
gotta
to check
go.
out both these
Gotta go.
artists.
And I'm loving my Tracy. She's my producer, the girl that's staying on top of it all.
Thank you so much for the shot there, Jackie.
We can't thank you guys enough.
I'm coming down to Jackie's show one day. We've already been talking about it.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Love you, girls.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much for
right.
being on our show.
Be
All
well,
right,
Michael.
See ya, Jackie.
Force be with you.
I wish this time was Nana.
We were dancing with our hands.
Gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hey guys, CS Keys here to introduce you to San Diego's #1 health meal prep provider, Fresh and Fit Meals. With over 40 menu items to choose from, several pickup locations all over America's finest city, made and delivered fresh, never frozen. Save on time and money. Super convenient and improves the quality of your life. Just visit the website, freshandfitmeals.com, for all the menus and the pricing. Or give them a call at 858-805-5949 for more details. Remember, you are what you eat, so you might as well be fresh and fit with Fresh and Fit Meals.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.